Hi, everybody. I am your Miss Kentucky, Talia Dallas, representing at the Regency International Pageant in Las Vegas, Nevada. Today, I look a little bit different, don't I? Have you been watching this journey? You know that I'm a natural girl and I had those really kinky, messy locks. And, quite frankly, I only do my hair on special occasions. I graduated from a private all-girls school called Assumption High School, and we believed that you didn't have to do your hair every day. Why? Because we only went to school with girls, okay? And that was just something that I kept with me. It's just that my beauty is like a light switch. I can turn it up, I can dim it down, I can do whatever makes me happy. So, now that my hair is done, we're going to put my crown on eventually. But I just wanted to tell my story of how I became Miss Kentucky. In the year 2012, I signed up for the Miss Kentucky pageant, which it would have been the third pageant that I had ever did in my life. Because the first one that I did was National American Miss, which was about 2011. And then the one before that, or somewhere in between, was the Delta Sigma Theta Jabberwocky in Louisville, Kentucky. And it was about the looking glass self. When you look inside the mirror, who do you see? What do you want to be? And we did something called the Jabberwocky. So as I take a moment to look inward and really, really just let my moment set in, I am reminded of my story. So I was born in Georgia, but whenever I called Miss Terry and let her know that I was interested inside the pageant, it was just like I wanted to be Miss Georgia. I really, really, really wanted to be Miss Georgia. And she said, "No, you shall be Miss Kentucky." And I said, "But I live in Georgia." And she said, "Honey, your number says 502." And I said, "It does." And I was going to college in Kentucky. I am a graduate of Spalding University College in Louisville, Kentucky. And my beloved high school, Assumption High School, is in Louisville, Kentucky. But my family has moved around a lot. And my grandma is from Ukraine. And there's a story in our family. Everybody in Kentucky loves good old folk tales. And so my grandma, who is extremely, extremely fair skinned, and we were told that she was Polish. And she calls herself a boat baby. So she meets this man when she's in Poland. She meets this man, he puts her in a boat, and he takes her to Ohio. Ohio is really, really close to Kentucky. So they go back and forth for a while, and she starts having children that look like her new man. But my grandmas could not speak any English, so they didn't really have a way of saying what they were going through at all. Really, I think that her beauty is what kept her going through everything, because she didn't have a husband, and there was another man. And, we can't change where we come from. We are just reflections of where we come from. I stand here being resilient. And the fact that I'm speaking English means a whole lot because my grandmothers were not native to English at all. Now, as a child, I've always been very, very inquisitive. And so my grandmother used to talk extremely, extremely funny. And we had to decipher what she was saying a lot. And it was just a journey. So as I got older, I looked more into it. Just really, really trying to understand her accent and to figure out where it came from. And so one day, I read the Diary of Anne Frank. Which was about Germany. And I asked my grandmother, "Did you go through something like that? Do you have like an inner Anne Frank in you? Did you live somewhere where Anne Frank lived?" And she completely said, "No, no, 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 no." But I just felt like I didn't know enough about being Polish. And I just felt like I didn't have enough information, okay? So I pulled out the world map. And I got to tracking stuff, and I got to pinning stuff down, and I called her up again. "Are you sure you were never like a princess locked away inside a tower somewhere far, far away, and a prince came to save you?" And after talking for a long, long time, she reveals that she's a native from Ukraine. And I think that there were a couple of reasons why we didn't talk about it. Specifically because the year that I asked her was the first year that like Ukraine was really, really under war. But whenever you get looking at the map, and all I had was the information was that she was Polish. I said, Grandma, but where is she from? You know, where? Where is she from? And she said, right up there with Ukraine. So the accent that she used to talk to us in was Russian. And Anne Frank triggered me because it was German. And all these places are kind of sort of close together on the map, especially if you follow the water. So I stand to you today as a boat baby. And once I found out, that we were from Ukraine, I was sad because, the war is extremely, extremely bad and it's still going on. But I was proud to be from Ukraine. But for me to be here in Las Vegas today, sitting as Miss Kentucky, ready to start the beauty pageant, I'm proud of myself because due to my grandmother traveling around secretly, I used to have an extreme fear of traveling, okay? If it wasn't Kentucky, Tennessee, Georgia, Ohio, I just wasn't there. I had a very, very extreme fear of traveling because I have an accent. But because I went to school in Kentucky, I can kind of sort of, present and talk without my accent, but catch me on a regular old day, I just don't sound like I'm from Georgia. So we call each other boat babies. And I'm happy to be here today. But I have been looking for myself in so many ways because once I finally got back to Georgia after graduating from Spalding University in Kentucky, I got back and I didn't have the Georgia accent at all. And people ask me every day, where are you from? Where are you from? And I say, I was born here. They're like, where? I'm like, College Park, Georgia. And they just don't believe me. And they're like, but you sound so different. And I'm like, well, my grandmother is from Ukraine, which is amazing. So now let's get to the story of Miss Kentucky, right? So in the year 2012, I signed up for the Miss Kentucky pageant. It was beautiful. The whole idea was amazing. And we sat down to have a little like lunch-in where we get to know each other. We got our packet. It was basically like contract signing time, and we had time to talk about our platform. And my platform was going to be the prevention of domestic violence for teens. How to prevent domestic violence before people are actually in steady relationships. And I was inside a group called Pact in Action. But for some reason, I was new to the pageant life. That would have been my third pageant. And I wasn't realizing that it was only like 3 of us in the room. I was just happy to be there. And I remember it was me, one other girl, and another girl. So we had like a Mrs., a Mrs., and a Mrs. Little Miss, Mrs., and Mrs. And the pageant ended up getting canceled. But the director, she was absolutely sweet, and I remember calling her and talking to her a lot, and even if she was in the middle of her workout, she would stop what she was doing to talk to me. But the pageant ended up getting canceled, and sitting here today as your Miss Kentucky just kind of helps me understand that, like, I got to be Miss Kentucky by default. If you believe in destiny, here I am. Here I am. Made it all the way across the water. Got to be born in Georgia, but still represent as Miss Kentucky. So it was just something that I kind of like pulled out of my heart. And I am very excited to be your Miss Kentucky. My name is Talia Dallas. And although that pageant got canceled in 2012, my dream came true this year in 2023. May you never stop wishing upon those stars, okay? Every day you wake up, it is your job to go out and be everything that you can be. And the only way to get there is through serving others, okay? With that being said, I would like to put my crown on. I am proud to be a graduate of Assumption High School. We had a girl who was Miss Kentucky there about 4 years before me. and I wanted to walk in her footsteps, and I didn't have the opportunity because enough people did not sign up. But here I am today as your Miss Kentucky. It was in me all along, and I'm so happy, so honored to wear my crown and to serve everybody. So let's put this crown on. And 3, 2, 1, I am your Miss Regency International, representing Miss Kentucky. This is a beautiful crown. It's the biggest pageant crown that I have ever worn. And the best part is when you win, it gets even bigger. But what I like about this crown is that, when you're signing up for the Regency International pageant and you're putting in your information, it says, hold on, we're creating something special just for you. And I needed something special. I really did. 2023 was definitely a year of triumph, okay? And so we had to write a paper about what we would go back and tell our younger self. And I would tell my younger self not to say I do whenever I really don't. And I would also say that the grass ain't green on the other side unless you choose to stand on the brighter side. So here I am, standing on the brighter side of things, having made it all the way across the water, having succeeded with the accent that was extremely, extremely foreign, but here I am. Miss Spalding University graduate, Miss Assumption High School graduate. You can do anything you put your mind to. Go and find your family history. Go and look up the map and see where you're from. I am Talia Dallas, representing as your Miss Kentucky at the Regency International Pageant in Las Vegas, Nevada, and I would like to give a special shout out to Miss Terry, the pageant director. She was Miss Ohio herself. I am so happy to be serving you. Press subscribe. Thanks for watching. Bye.